have from me on this edition. Over to Swati Joshi for India Upfront.
Thank you very much, Poonam. Good evening, viewers. You're watching India Upfront and I'm Swati Joshi. Ladies and gentlemen, the former Vice President of India, Hamid Ansari, is at the receiving end of BJP's wrath and attack for having an alleged link to a Pakistani spy under the garb of a journalist. It all started with Pakistani journalist Nusrat Mirza claiming that he visited India 5 times during the UPA rule and passed on sensitive information that he gathered here to the Pakistani spy agency ISI. A claim that has been defended by Hamid Ansari tooth and nail. He dubbed all the claims made by Nusrat Mirza and the allegations levelled against him by the BJP a litany of falsehoods. Nusrat Mirza asserted that he landed in India at the invitation of Hamid Ansari. His revelation has armed the BJP. Congress maintains that the Saffron Party is lying through its teeth and termed it character assassination of the worst form. The BJP, while flashing the pictures of the meet, said bigwigs of the then UPA government were present at the event, which was chaired by Hamid Ansari himself. But now, the organizer of this particular conference, the conference that happened in 2010, has claimed that Nusrat Mirza was not invited to the conference that happened in 2010. In fact, Nusrat Mirza was part of the conference that happened in 2009. And in fact, the organizer also goes on to say that when the then Vice President Hamid Ansari was informed that Nusrat Mirza is not being invited for the 2010 event, he was upset. Those clarifications came in from the organizer Adish Agarwal. He says that while he did invite Ansari to a conference in 2010, the Pakistani journalist was not present there. Agarwal has also put out a picture of a conference that took place on October 27th, 2009. This picture has been shared by the BJP as well. Listen.
This is totally wrong to allege that Pakistani journalist and spy attended our function. This is totally wrong that we ever invited him. Neither we invited nor he attended any of our conference, but to speak of the conference held on 11th and 12th of December 2010 held in Vigyan Bhavan in New Delhi. Director in Vice President Secretariat in Vice President House, and he told that Honorable Vice President want that a senior journalist, Mr. Nusrat Mirza from Pakistan, should be also invited to attend your conference. So I have not said anything at that time because these are very sensitive matters, because we were discussing on the issue of international terrorism and human rights.
Well, the BJP says it proves that Congress went soft on terror, specifically because the conference took place just 1.5 years after the 26/11 Mumbai attacks.
जब ये प्रेस वार्ता खत्म हुई उसके बाद एक वक्तव्य हामिद अंसारी जी की तरफ से आया और मैं रीड कर दूं। मैं ये वक्तव्य रखना चाहता हूं जिससे कि बिल्कुल स्पष्ट हो जाए कि उन्होंने क्या कहा। इट इज अ नोन फैक्ट दैट इन्विटेशन टू फॉरेन डिग्निटरीज बाय द वाइस प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया आर ऑन द एडवाइस ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट, जनरली थ्रू द मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स। हामिद अंसारी जी खुद कहते हैं कि पूर्व की कांग्रेस सरकार की सलाह पर उनसे मशवरा कर कर ही इन फॉरेन डिग्निटरीज को बुलाया जाता है। बीच में बैठे हैं तत्कालीन उपराष्ट्रपति हामिद अंसारी जी। इसी तस्वीर में अगर आप देखें तो सरकार के बड़े वरिष्ठ मंत्री भी बैठे हुए हैं। कांग्रेस की सरकार के वरिष्ठ मंत्री मंच साझा कर रहे हैं। वक्तव्य है हामिद अंसारी जी का और यह तस्वीर है और ये सवाल है, क्या ये सत्य नहीं है? कांग्रेस पार्टी इसका जवाब दे। सोनिया गांधी जी जवाब दीजिए, राहुल गांधी जी जवाब दीजिए। तो क्या ये वाजिब सवाल नहीं है जो भारत की जनता आपसे पूछती है कि ऐसे व्यक्ति को वीजा क्यों दिया गया? आतंकवादी हमला हमारे देश पे किया जाता है और हमने ये भी बताया था कि आतंकवाद से कैसे लड़ना है ये कांग्रेस पार्टी पाकिस्तान के आईएसआई एजेंट से सीख रही थी। ऊपर लिखा है सेकेंड इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस, उसके नीचे शीर्षक है टेररिज्म नेशनल एंड इंटरनेशनल। जो मुंबई का आतंकवादी हमला हुआ उससे 1 साल भी अभी नहीं बीता था, 1 साल भी नहीं बीता था, और बीच में बैठे हैं तत्कालीन उपराष्ट्रपति हमीद अंसारी जी।
Let's now listen to what exactly the Pakistani journalist Nusrat Mirza claimed that has raked the entire controversy.
इंडिया के जो नफ्सियात है, उनका जो कल्चर है, उसको हम समझते हैं, उनकी वीकनेस को हम जानते हैं। अब मसला ये है कि पाकिस्तान में कोई आदमी ऐसा नहीं है कि उस हमारे जो पास जो एक्सपीरियंस है या जो हमने वहाँ तजर्बा हासिल किया, उससे कोई इस्तेफादा हासिल करने को तैयार नहीं है। खुर्शीद कुसरी ने मुझसे कहा कि भाई ये जो तुम इंफॉर्मेशन लाए हो ये तुम इसको दे दो क्यानी को। उस जमाने में क्यानी डीजी ऐसा ही था। मैंने भाई मैं तो नहीं दूंगा, लेकिन आप देना चाहते हैं दे दें, मैं आपको ये दे के जा रहा हूँ। तो खैर वो उन्होंने दे दी थी। फिर बाद में किसी आदमी ने, एक ब्रिगेडियर ने मुझे फ़ोन किया, कहा कि साहब ऐसी इन्फॉर्मेशन हमें और मिल जाए तो अच्छा है। तो मैंने कहा भाई ये इन्फॉर्मेशन काफ़ी नहीं है, इस पर ही काम करो। तो इनका एक रिसर्च विंग ज़रूर है, ये नहीं कह सकते कि आप ये लोग वहाँ के हालात को नहीं जानते हैं। हमारे जो आइंस्टाइन जो है वहाँ के सारे शहरों के बारे में इनके पास इंफॉर्मेशन है, उनकी जो लिविंग है, उनके यहाँ जो कमज़ोरियाँ हैं, जहाँ पर वो सब जानते हैं।
Well, Hamid Ansari has once again issued a statement and denied knowing this Pakistani journalist who claims that he was in India to gather sensitive information and passed it on to the ISI. Hamid Ansari has said that he does not know Nusrat Mirza and has never in fact invited him, whether it was for the 2009 international conference or the 2010 conference. Let's open this up and go across to our guests. We're joined by Sanju Verma, spokesperson of the BJP. We have with us SS Sriram, a political analyst. Shubhrastha joins us as well, founder of the Churn. We have Sunny Wakker, Youth Congress member, Advocate Kapil Madan, a supporter of the Congress party, joining us along with Tausif Ahmed, a political analyst. Good evening to all of you. Sunny Wakker, I want to come to you first. Let's just keep aside what the BJP is alleging and what the organizer has said, his clarification. Let's keep all of that aside. Let's just go by what Hamid Ansari has said. And he said it very, very clearly that as far as such invitations to foreign dignitaries are concerned, it happens on the advice of the government and through the MEA. So who should answer the question as to who gave the visa, who gave clearance to this Pakistani journalist?
So I'll just repeat the words of Honorable ex-Vice President, that it is just litany of falsehood, nothing beyond that. BJP is stooping so low to distract and divide this India's attention so that, you know, अब की बार 80 पार उस पर चर्चा ना हो जाए. हाँ? और let me tell you, you can raise any kind of allegation in politics, that's okay. But you know, you should never do something which is impossible. Congress party which gave freedom to this country, which gave the foundation of this country, which fought with Pakistan, which divided Pakistan twice, and you think that Congress party will do this? Like in what absurd world BJP
lives? Is the BJP claiming that there was a journalist in India who gathered sensitive information and passed it on to the ISI, or is the Pakistani journalist himself claiming?
Even whole Pakistan media was saying when the surgical strike happened that कौवे मरे थे, उस पे भी ट्रस्ट करो फिर.
सनी धीमान जी, ये जो क्लेम्स हैं, सनी धीमान जी सुनिए, ये जो क्लेम्स हैं कि मैं भारत आया, कई बार आया, सेंसिटिव इंफॉर्मेशन गैदर की, उसके बाद आईएसआई को पास किया, ये क्लेम्स बीजेपी के हैं या नुसरत मिर्जा के हैं?
I can't hear your voice.
Okay, all right then. Mr. Dhiman, stay on with us. We'll fix that audio line. I'll come back to you with the same question. I want to go across to Sanju Verma now. Sanju Verma, the BJP is stooping too low. This is the character assassination of the worst form. Just because there is a picture out there, just because you're sharing it, the organizer has shared it, and you can see Mr. Hamid Ansari, the picture does not mean that he has links to the Pakistani journalist or that he himself invited the Pakistani journalist. Respond. Sanju Verma, can you hear me? Okay, I think Sanju Verma is not able to hear me. Let me take that across to Shubhrastha. Shubhrastha, if you can hear me, please go ahead.
Yes, Swati, whatever defense that, Hamid Ansari ji is giving, it needs to be understood that he was a vice president at that point in time. Who was running the government? If the government was being run by the Congress party during the time when he served India as vice president, and this Pakistani journalist claims that he visited, then who should the buck stop with is the first question. And the second question is that nobody, there are a lot of people in the Congress party who have served at the highest of offices, but why is the conversation happening with respect to Hamid Ansari's name? Because in the past he has had some very dubious connections, which is why there are reasons why people have doubts on his credentials. He is the person, correct me if I'm wrong, I mean you've been in media for the longest time, Swati, correct me if I'm wrong, did he not attend a PFI event? Isn't Hamid Ansari the same person who cast aspersions and raised doubts over standing, standing up for the national anthem? He's a person who also had a problem with unveiling of the national flag. There was some controversy or the other always with respect to national symbols, and Hamid Ansari's reluctance to accept them as a marker of nationalist pride or respect. Now, you may have a different version of nationalism. That's not the issue here. You have served at a constitutional position. And if you have so many issues with what India stands for symbolically, and then there is a Pakistani journalist making these claims, however ludicrous they may be, there may be no iota of truth in that. But instead of coming to defense, he should have explained his position very clearly.
No, but if there is no, if you're saying there is no iota of truth in what the Pakistani journalist is saying, then Hamid Ansari has denied ever knowing that journalist or ever inviting that journalist. Hamid Ansari has denied that.
Swati, I'm not. Yeah. Swati, I'm not saying that there is no element of truth in what the Pakistan journalist is saying. I'm saying that even if we were to go by the version that Pakistan, just because, it's not a friendly nation, we're always at loggerheads with each other, if at all we have to doubt the Pakistani journalist version, then in that case, where is a credible defense from the Congress party? Here is a person, Jairam Rameshji says that yes, indeed, that journalist did attend the conference. Then on what basis did the journalist attend the conference? When the journalist himself affirms that he has passed information to ISI, then what kind of government was the Congress party running during that time?
What kind of government was the Congress party running?
There are invitations to a government program which has ISI
Nusrat Mirza was never invited for the 2010 event, and in fact, according to the organizer, when the information was passed on to the then Vice President was upset, and instead of attending the event for an hour, only attended the event for 20 minutes or so. The organizer also says Hamid Ansari and Mr. Jairam Ramesh chose not to disclose about the Jama Masjid United Forum's conference because they wanted to mislead government agencies. They did not want questions to be raised on the event. That happened in 2009.
Everything is public. Everything is in public space. You can go and check. And let the MEA
spokesperson एक मिनट प्लीज. तौसीफ अहमद को सवाल पूछा. Let him come in.
Yes, Swati, this entire episode seems like a B-grade fictional thriller, crime thriller imagined by BJP. BJP is giving credence to the statements of a known conspiracy theorist. This Pakistani journalist is known for peddling conspiracy theories about the 2005 earthquake in Pakistan and the 2011 tsunami in Japan. BJP is siding with the theory and the claims which this Pakistani journalist himself has retracted and attacking the office of the Vice President, a known diplomat, questioning the patriotism of the office of the Vice President. Please remember, they are not attacking Hamid Ansari in his personal capacity, but as his position as the Vice President. And it's the most shameful thing to do.
First of all, if it is fictional, first of all, if it is fictional, then which means there is no character called Nusrat Mirza. And if he does exist, according to you, he is a known conspiracy theorist. Then how come such a known conspiracy theorist, a person who, you know, you can use terms like maybe rabble-rouser, anti-India agenda individual, why is such a person given visa? Why is such a person given clearance? Why is such a person allowed to attend a conference against terrorism?
When was he given the visa? When did he attend the event? Kindly shed some light on that. You're talking about you're talking about whether this event took place in 2010 or 2009.
2009. The picture
we
is
are
of 2009.
in 2022. This man is old. He needs some attention.
This picture is from 2009. That's what the organizer says.
Yes, there's a lots of discrepancy about him attending the event in which year as well.
He can be seen in the picture.
And this man, who is towards the fag end of his career,
photos, which means he was
is
very much
talking
present in the
casually
event.
to a YouTuber.
He is.
This man in Pakistan, a Pakistani rebel-rouser, talking to a YouTuber.
He can be seen in the picture along with other dignitaries.
Seeking some attention.
Hamid Ansari.
And the government of the time is giving credence to what he says against the Vice President, former Vice President of our country.
He was present for the event which happened here in India. So basic question, Sanju Verma, if that person is a conspiracy theorist, then how come you are allowing such person to enter India if you know about his credentials and his intentions?
You know, Swati, let me lay down some ground facts before your audience. First and foremost, you know, we are all aware of this saying, once is happenstance, twice is coincidence, third time is enemy action. And Hamid Ansari is a repeat offender. This is the same man who in September 2017 attended a program which was organized by the PFI at Kozhikode in Kerala and quite brazenly was completely remorseless and unrepentant about it. And Swati, you might recall as recently as January 2022, Hamid Ansari attended a virtual conference attended by none other than the Indian Association of American Muslims, which is a radicalized Islamist organization which clearly says that its key agenda is to establish an Islamic state across the world. It owes its allegiance to the likes of Taliban and Al-Qaeda, and Indian American Muslim Council has repeatedly said that Kashmir is not a part of India. It has peddled an anti-India propaganda at various international forums. And what a shame that a man who was the Vice President of India from 2007 to 2017 was presiding over a program organized by the Indian American Muslim Council. And now coming to your question, I will just say this. Who gave Hamid Ansari the visa in 2009 and 2010? It was not the BJP-led NDA. Who was in power then? It was the Congress. And mind you, normally you are given a visa to visit 5 cities. At that point in time, even a multi-point entry visa covers 5 cities, not more than that.
You know, as far as the PFI event is concerned, Hamid Ansari said, I was invited by a Delhi-based body called Institute of Objective Studies. They came to me saying that they are organizing a study on status of women and role of women in making a humane society. So he basically said they did not know that it was an event organized by the PFI, as far as the PFI event is concerned.
Swati, let me be very clear to you that the key organizer of the event in September 2017 at Kozhikode was the women's arm of PFI. It was attended by the General Secretary of PFI, Anis Ahmed, another General Secretary, Ahmed Qureshi, and the head of the women's wing of PFI, A.S. Zainab. So Hamid Ansari trying to mollycoddle the whole thing and whitewash the whole thing is a whole lot of hogwash. I want to ask you one thing. Why are questions not being asked of the Congress? Who gave
questions are being asked of the Congress? Questions are being asked of the Congress party, and Mr. Sunny Dhiman is answering those questions. Maybe you were not connected. Maybe you were not connected. Maybe you were not connected when I asked those questions. But let me bring in Mr. S.S. Sriram. Mr. S.S. Sriram, Now the Congress party is asking, what is the evidence? Where is the evidence? Where is the proof that this person, Nusrat Mirza, actually met Hamid Ansari? What are his credentials? Why are we going by what Nusrat Mirza is saying?
And the last day he had to say that Muslims are insecure in India, but when probed further he backtracked. He was the same person who took objection to removing Jinnah's picture in one of the UP universities. He was the same person who kept on even supporting the Sharia law. So there are his past intentions or his views are definitely looks radical, and this gentleman seemed to have had a very free run. He has visited India five times, visited almost 15 to 16 states. He seemed to know the number of Muslim MPs in India by the back of his palm, and he is quite confident saying that he has got the best of help that wanted by him to be in India. So there is a very confident statement, and one can't brush aside and say, you know, he was a vice president and he had did this, he had done that.
Mr. Sriram,
there are situations where you have to look at magnifying glass and see what exactly has gone wrong, and we can't just, you know, say that nothing went wrong.
Let me come in. I have a quick follow-up question. Can you hear me?
Bothering issue that one has to look into.
I have a quick follow-up question, if you can hear me. Nusrat Mirza also said in his interview that 26/11 was an inside job. So what is the credibility of such an individual? What is the proof Congress party is asking of the meet that happened, according to him, between him and Mr. Hamid Ansari? Why are we going by somebody who is known to be a conspiracy theorist?
No, why at all? We should first share the dais with a person who just was the reason, the country which was just for the reason for the 29/11 attack. Why at all was he first invited? And why should we take his statements trying to, you know, divulge divulge that, saying that it was an Indian insider work? I mean, this is definitely an issue that these guys can do what they want to do, and they have had a free run is what it goes to prove. Nothing else otherwise. Okay, Mr. Dhiman, respond to that. Why was clearance given? Why was visa given? Or why was this individual allowed to enter India when, you know, he is being called a conspiracy theorist, and when one is saying that you cannot trust his intentions, and this happened right after the 26/11 attacks that happened in 2008 in Mumbai. In 2009, this person comes to India and attends a conference. Why was the clearance given?
Like few days back on 13th of July, Congress party has already given what Congress has to say. But right now what I'm saying is कि आप चाहते हैं कि मोहन जोदड़ो की खुदाई करके हम पता करें कि वो क्यों बना था।
नहीं, जो सवाल हम पूछ रहे हैं उसका जवाब नहीं दिया ना कांग्रेस पार्टी ने। अपनी तरफ से एक स्टेटमेंट इशू कर दिया गया है। Mr. Dhiman,
we are treating it just an absurd
Mr. Dhiman, please answer the question that has been asked.
Vice President, so that the people of
India
answer the question that has been asked. To the details कि अब की बार
सवाल उसका जवाब दीजिए।
अब की बार 80 पार
जो सवाल है उसका जवाब दीजिए।
लोगों को सुनाई ना दे।
कांग्रेस पार्टी ने एक स्टेटमेंट अपनी तरफ से जारी कर दिया, लेकिन कांग्रेस पार्टी के अलावा ऑर्गेनाइजर का भी कुछ कहना है।
भारत सरकार की
ऑर्गेनाइजर का भी कुछ कहना है। ऑर्गेनाइजर ने भी अपना पक्ष रखा है। आप सवाल का जवाब दीजिए ना कि अगर ये कंस्पिरेसी थियरिस्ट है तो फिर इनको इंडिया आने क्यों दिया गया? इनको 2009 में ठीक 2008 26/11 के हमलों के बाद एक पाकिस्तानी जर्नलिस्ट को आप बुला रहे हैं मंच पर, इतने सारे महानुभाव बैठे कांग्रेस पार्टी के क्यों?
कांग्रेस पार्टी है, हम आईएसआई सुनिए, ये व्यक्ति खुद बोल रहा है कि हम आईएसआई के बाद पढ़कर देखिए ना उसके बारे में, वो आईएसआई का भी ब्लू आई बॉय है। और उसकी बातों को आप मानकर अब इस देश को
आप आने दे रहे हैं इंडिया में,
आप इस देश को भटकाना चाहते हैं,
उसको आप इंडिया में आने दे रहे हैं। इस तरह के कॉन्फ्रेंसेस को जो कि टेररिज्म के खिलाफ है, कॉन्फ्रेंसेस अगेंस्ट टेररिज्म, ही इज बीइंग अलाउड टू अटेंड सच कॉन्फ्रेंसेस
राइट नाउ।
ब्लू आइड बॉय आईएसआई का है तो एक बात बताइए, ब्लू आइड बॉय आईएसआई का है तो एक बात बताइए, व्हाई वाज ही अलाउड टू स्टेप, व्हाई वाज ही अलाउड टू सेट फुट इन इंडिया?
प्लीज रीड माय लिप्स। Can I say something?
Yes.
I will not answer that absurd question, but
okay. So the question is absurd
because
सवाल गलत है. Question is absurd. The Congress party has issued a statement. We will not answer. We will not answer on accountability. We will not answer. नहीं, आपने कह दिया, आपने सवाल को ही absurd कह दिया.
हम आरएसएस के लोग नहीं है जो बूथ
यहाँ वहाँ की आप तमाम बातें कर लेंगे. You will not come. You will not come to the point. I want to go across to Advocate Kapil Madan. Kapil Madan, there are some questions that are being asked about the clearance given to this individual. If today, the Congress party is saying, why are we trusting this man? Why are we going by what he's saying? What is the credibility of this individual? And it is whatever he's saying and whatever the BJP is saying is being called a litany of falsehoods. Then why was this individual allowed to step foot in India? And how does that question become absurd?
Yes, so I will respond to all your questions. So let me put and answer the first question. Now, I think you have missed the important update, the official statement given by Ministry of External Affairs, wherein they have denied, they say we can't corroborate what has been said by this Pakistani journalist. That's point number one. So there is no corroboration. The official statement of the Government of India through Ministry of External Affairs, they are not ratifying what the Pakistani journalist has said. That's point number one. Now, second point, you raise an important point that there should be questions about, if someone has terror links, then why would you have that individual? Or, of course, I mean, these are important questions in the interest of the nation's integrity and security. These questions should be asked.
Yes.
And with that context, I'll ask a question. Now, you have Mohammad Riaz Atari, who NIA is now claiming that he has links with Pakistan, and he was found to be a member of BJP in Rajasthan. He committed gruesome murder of Kanhaiya Lal in Rajasthan.
Okay.
Now you also have...
Before you bring in the Udaipur angle, before you bring in the Udaipur angle and other angles, you have said something about the MEA statement. Let me tell you what Arindam Bagchi said. Let me tell you what Arindam Bagchi said. Arindam Bagchi said, I have seen some media reports, but I cannot comment on it. I don't have the details about the media report, and it is uncorroborated. I would not like to comment on both the points.
How are you drifting the debate? Have a bipartisan debate, Swati.
Sir, you said something about the MEA statement. You said something about the MEA statement. I am just telling you the exact statement.
You can't interrupt me. You can't interrupt. Let me finish and then
I can always ask you a follow-up question. I can always come in and tell you that this is the exact statement.
Your follow-up, okay.
And the follow-up question is to you only. I have not moved on to someone else. So you can continue speaking.
Let me first ask you, Tahib Hussain Shah, a sitting IT member of the BJP, is arrested by Jammu and Kashmir police on terror charges. Now, how is the man shown on a picture with Mr. Amit Shah? How could he?
Puchiye na BJP ko. Why are you asking that question to me? No, there is no need to be upset. Advocate Madan, you said something about the MEA statement. I just told you what the exact statement is. And I have not moved on to some other guest. You're still speaking, so please complete your point.
I am completing, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now, you don't want to talk about Tahib Hussain Shah.
You can go ahead and talk about it. I never stopped you from talking about it. I'm not even expunging or banning you from using those names.
The point is, now terrorism, now you have a link, a seat of the BJP,
Let him finish.
Jammu and Kashmir unit, arrested on terror charges.
That was discussed
about that terrorism.
extensively. Questions were asked to the BJP as well. Questions were asked to the BJP as well.
No. Allow me to make my point. Now also in 2017, a gentleman again who had links with BJP, Dhruv Saxena, he was caught.
No, one second, please let him finish his point. हाँ, ठीक है. So Sanju Verma, he is saying you are maligning Hamid Ansari. What about the terror links with the BJP? Isn't that your question? You want a response to that, Mr. Madan?
Yes, let me respond.
Now, Swati, I don't want to be
Ministry of External Affairs, Ministry of External Affairs has not corroborated what the BJP is saying.
I don't wish to be interrupted,
it is without any basis as of now.
Okay, Mr. Madan, now let her respond.
You have on the other...
You've leveled some allegations.
Not to heckle others.
Take clarification.
Swati, first and foremost, the topic of the debate is Hamid Ansari. It is not Rajasthan. Point number two, I simply want to say one thing. Forget what Hamid Ansari is saying, forget what journalists or conspiracy theorists or Pakistani spy Nusrat Mirza is saying. Can we believe what N.K. Sood, noted author and former raw officer, said about Hamid Ansari? I'm reading out his tweet of 2019, where he says, I was in Tehran, Iran, and Hamid Ansari was then the ambassador in Tehran. Ansari had played a crucial role in exposing India's raw setup in Tehran, endangering the lives of raw unit members. But this very man was made vice president for 2 consecutive terms. This is N.K. Sood's tweet dated 28 June 2019. Point number 2, I want to say one thing. Congress का track record देखो, Swati. Mani Shankar Iyer goes to Pakistan and he says, Modi को हटाओ, हमको लेकर आओ. Salman Khurshid goes to Islamabad, says, जब से मोदी आए हैं भारत में कुछ सही नहीं हो रहा. Shashi Tharoor goes to Karachi, he says that, everything in India is wrong post 2014. Congress is a repeat offender. This is the same party. Congress is the same party.
Okay.
At the height of Doklam standoff, Rahul Gandhi was shamelessly flirting with Chinese embassy officials.
Let's take quick rebuttals then.
With China in 2008.
Okay.
So please don't give bhashan on nationalism and
Mr. Dhiman.
to the BJP. I want to ask just one simple
They are
question.
carbon copy of RSS. They want to distract issue. If Hamid Ansari has done something wrong, then why BJP could not do anything in last 7-8 years? Why? But you want to distract India. You want to degrade the office of the vice president. You are against the constitution of India. You are against the soul of very India. That is why you are doing so. You are attacking Congress, who the Congress party, the member of Congress party, we have sacrificed for this nation, and we will do it again and again.
Mr. Dhiman, the then Vice President Hamid Ansari himself has said that I did not invite anybody. Whenever such invitations are sent out, it happens on the advice of the government and it happens through the MEA. So the Congress party needs to answer. उस वक्त ये डिसीजन किसने लिया, ये इनविटेशन किसने दिया, इसमें आप कांग्रेस का सैक्रिफाइस और कांग्रेस पार्टी में क्या क्या हुआ, ये आप टॉपिक पर रहिए, आप ये पूरा इतिहास मत लेकर आइए. But as far as that point on Iran is concerned, Shubhrastha, Hamid Ansari also said, as far as my work in Iran is concerned, the current dispensation also has knowledge about it.
Allegation नहीं, ISI की लाइन को टो मत करो इंडिया में. Please don't toe the line of ISI. Do the investigation. We still are a free
investigation होने दीजिए ना, कौन मना कर रहा है? कौन मना कर रहा है? Let Shubhrastha come in now. यही तो मैं आपसे कह रही हूँ, मैं आपसे. Investigation होने दीजिए. Shubhrastha.
Swati, this entire debate.
Yes, Swati, I couldn't hear your question exactly because Sunny was constantly speaking. Your question is that basically what Hamid Ansari is saying is that his work in Iran was in the know-how of the central government, right?
Yes.
Is that what the context is?
Yes.
Yeah. So, I don't think anybody is denying the fact that he has served India at various constitutional and bureaucratic positions. Nobody is denying that. The problem now is that the thing is, it's not only a Pakistani spy saying something. It's also an organizer of an event in London, Mr. Agrawala, whose Twitter thread is going viral. A press statement has been issued by the organizer of that event. Why are these controversies associated with one single individual in the Congress party? Dr. Shashi Tharoor has served so many positions in the Congress. I don't think a conversation like that would have ever occurred around him. So, Sunny needs to understand that there are serious allegations being made and there is a context to
going by what everybody is saying, what Nusrat Mirza, I beg your pardon, is claiming, what the organizer is claiming, but we need to actually demand evidence. If that meeting ever happened, there needs to be an evidence, a proof of that meeting between Nusrat Mirza and Hamid Ansari. And I think the organizer should also provide some evidence as to whether Mr. Hamid Ansari himself wanted Nusrat Mirza to be a part of the 2010 event, and when that never happened, he got upset. That's what the organizer is claiming. So those are the basic questions that still are unanswered. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. Shubhrastha is going to continue with us for debate number